Welcome back, folks. This is Darren 67 to 72. I'm Darren, and this is a 71. So that's a 67 to 72. That's what we work on. C10s, C20s, whatever. Today we're working on kind of a unique thing I haven't seen online before. So if you came to watch it, I'm going to get right to it. It is the lower steering bearing and rag joint because we had to take it out anyway. So if you're curious how to do this, I'm going to show you how I'm doing it. The other videos that I could find that kind of were close, that might have some relevance, said take the column out. I don't want to do that. I mean, you got your shift linkage in there, you got your steering and horn button, and that's a lot of work. Let's just do this the easy way. We'll call it a hack, if you will, because it's not tear it all apart. The steering column's fine. The lower bearing went bad in this or fell out. It might be because somebody put a different steering wheel on it and didn't get the spacing proper, and it allowed the bearing to come out far enough that the balls all fell out of it. But it's a bearing pack, so it shouldn't have fell apart anyway. It was getting old, obviously. This is one piece. You can't push it apart. I mean, I'm not going to try very hard, but it's there together. So even if that was a little bit out of place due to the last person, it shouldn't have fell apart. So basically, it was bad. Now you can buy these. Good luck finding. I haven't been able to find parts all week. Not been had much luck. This is the part we're looking at. I know black, and I got black gloves on, but it's just a bearing pack. You see the bearings are shiny in there, and it just rotates. This outer part, I think it's rubber. It's rubber coated. It fits in a little bear. I have one. Let me show you. Let me just show you. It comes with a new one. And that's cool. It just drives the price up for no reason. But it could be bad. I get that. But it just sets. Have I got this in the right place? I'm sorry. It just sets right in there. That's it. You can't put it in wrong because it won't fit in this side. It sets in this sleeve. And there's one of these in the truck. I'll show you in a minute. It sets in there, and my finger can rotate that bearing. It turns super smooth. Awesome. Then there's a spring and some things that hold it in there. But that's it. It's that simple. And if I got a little loose because of a misfitting, the bearing shouldn't have fell out. So I needed a new one anyway. I don't need this. I'm not replacing it because it's not a race. If it was a race, I probably would. But the bearing and race are all one part here. This is already on my truck. I'm not tearing that all apart just to put, I don't know, one that's, you can't even see it. It fits up inside of there. So if you need one, I guess it comes with the kit I bought. I prefer to just buy this. It'd be cheaper, but it's real unique bearing. I've never seen this before. It's even got a rubber O-ring inside of it. So when you push it on the shaft, it seals good. We're going to install that. But before we can install it, we got to tear it apart. Down here under the driver's side is your steering. Folks, I'm sorry. Is your steering box right here. Here's the rag joint. Well, it's not in there. I took it out. But you have two bolts to remove to take this shaft loose. That has to come out to do this job. And if you need to replace your rag joint, it fits in here. You take the two bolts out, push this shaft back up, and it'll give you, I mean, just barely enough room to take that rag joint out. Now, the rag joint, it's out, but it kind of looks like this. Am I getting a good view of that? Kind of. And mine's bad. It's got a tear in it. It's oil soaked. It would work, but with the tear in the, I can't find it right now, in the rubber, I don't want to put it back. There is a bolt right here you have to take out. You have to take it out completely because it goes through the shaft bottom. So take it out completely, and then you just pry this bad boy off and buy a new one for $68. I can't make one, so there you go. The next part you're going to want to do is go up top and try and pull that shaft out so you can do the bearing next, the shaft here. You'll be able to see better up there. Now I've got you back here where this is the lower bearing area up here. This will be the shaft you're looking at. Now this isn't 67 to 72. This will be 69 to 72, I believe. I know 67 and 68 is different down here. I don't know that the steering columns might be interchangeable, but they've changed the lower bearing from just a, oh, what do they call it? Wheel bearing to that fancy one I showed you earlier. So this bolt's the next bolt to take out right here. Now I'm going to be in the light, but I'll keep giving you something to see. I took the nut off already. It's going to be tight all the way to the end. It's not cross-threaded. It's got Loctite in it, so it doesn't come off. It's steering. So, you know, safety, safety, safety. Whatever. You pull that all the way out because it goes through the shaft, and you cannot pull it off unless you take that all the way out. Once you've got that off, wiggle, jiggle, push, pull, depending on how oiled up yours is and these splines here. This, I know my hand's in the way, but this part has to come off. Grab the large area here and wiggle and pull it. It just comes, there you go, comes right off. Then there's a way to drop it down in there. Just move it around, it'll go down. My hand's stuck. All right. And just drop that out of the way for now. We'll deal with that when? Later. Yeah, you know it. All right, got that out of the way on the floor. The next part is your bearing is up in here. Now mine was a little bit stuck. I'm not going to pry on it or nothing. I went inside and pulled on the steering wheel a little bit and it popped right off. I'd show it to you, but it fell someplace I can't find it. So we won't be looking at that today. But the fun thing is, grab our new bearing. There's some springs and stuff in there, so I'll show you. And your new bearing literally slides on that shaft. Now remember, there's that rubber piece on the inside. So it's going to rub on these splines, but it's not going to be a problem. You might have to have somebody hold the steering wheel. I'm going to hold the shaft to the side so there's pressure on it. And try and get this bearing up on there. You know, it's kind of a tight fit. I might have to have somebody else. Let's see if we can just push it on there. No, that steering wheel will go all the way to the moon. There, you just push it on there. It's a piece of cake. Yep, it's not going to let me do it. It's going. There we go. I was complaining about nothing. I know you can't see good. I can't either. Just it's basically push it up. And it went good for a minute. Now it stopped again. Of course, you can't see nothing. You can't get in here. But it's a lot better than pulling the steering column out. I'm hung up on something. Let me try to get my hand over it where you can't see anything. That'll be better, right? There, it's moving. Just, it's a tight fit. Maybe I should have oiled it. A little WD-40, but I didn't want to wash the lubrication out of my bearing. What we got going on? You can see it's on there. I'm just up to the wider part of the shaft. I'm going to push it up on there, and then I'll get back with you guys. I don't have a helper to hold the steering wheel. But that's got to go all the way up into this collar here. And I'll bring it back. All right, now we're back to this area here. I pushed that bearing on, and it had a tough spot here at the end. And then when you get up past this little collar here where it's round, I took some emery cloth and I kind of cleaned it up. I put a little bit of grease on it. And that roll ring on the inside makes it difficult to get past that bone. Well, I didn't have any helper here today, which is fine. I could ask my wife, but rather than take the time to go get her and have her come out here to hold that steering wheel, I just used some Gorilla Tape and taped it to the dash. So I'm not going to show you that. But hey, if you're in a pinch, you're by yourself, that's something that works. Sorry about the sound quality. I'm talking under the hood. So I also want to tell you, I used a large spark plug socket to go over the end of this, and it fit perfectly against the boss. So I wasn't hammering on the bearing, and I just had to give it a few taps to get it past this ridge. Then it slid right up in there into place relatively nicely. Now it's not tight up in there because there's more that goes on this, but the bearing is up where it belongs, pretty much seated. And it's kind of interesting how they keep this together. The next part is a spring. Now I got this from LMC. pricey. I probably should have got it somewhere else, but it came with a new spring, and that spring goes on next and holds that bearing tight and gives this steering a little bit of some preload on them bearings so they don't fall apart like my last one. After the spring comes this very large washer. No, I didn't put that on there. It came on there. That goes right in there next. It holds that spring for the tension. The next part, hopefully this don't fall. What am I gonna do? It's gotta stay there. Okay, that's gonna stay there, right? I have to go underneath and feed that shaft up. I might could do it from up here. So now we're working on the steering shaft. We're putting it back together already, folks. Nothing to it. Now, I should tell you, there's a large size side and a small side. I think they've used different size bolts, so you can't put this in wrong. Leave it to me, I probably could. But we're going to fish it in here. I know we've got limited visibility. We all do under this hood. I don't know which way it goes. I'll clock it when I get it in there. So something to keep in mind on this part is there's a bellow on here. And this is basically a wobble joint inside of here. And while you got it out, you should test this for wobble. Make sure it's not gritty. Make sure there's no slack in it left and right. This one's tight. There's nothing wrong with it. It's in good shape. You could take it apart and re-grease it, but I find that doesn't usually help. Just create more mess. So the bolt on this side and the groove on that shaft is also on that side. So you need to line them splines up so it goes back on correctly. Meanwhile, you're going to fight the rag joint area at the bottom. I didn't say this was easy, but it's better than taking the whole column out. All right, put it right on there. I'm going to guess it to be right about there. Looks good. Now, if we can get that up on them splines, look at that. It went a little ways and stopped, but that's okay. At least I got it started. I might have to get somebody to hold that steering wheel after all. But basically, you press it up on there now. There it goes. Went right up on there. Now, I'm assuming that spring and this bolt are what keeps the proper tension on that bearing. You don't need a lot. It just needs to be seated. The way we're going to check that is take this round head bolt, square on the inside, like a carriage bolt, and we're going to put that where it belongs. Got to remember which way. It looks like it goes. I don't know if both are square. Both are square, so it doesn't matter. At least I don't think it matters. What do I know? I guess if we're driving straight forward right now, and you would rather see the cap or the nut, I'd rather see the cap under the hood where it doesn't matter. Yeah, I know. I'm a funny dude. Now it's not going in, and it's probably because this isn't seated all the way. Remember, it's steering, so they made sure everything has to fit just so for it to go together. You probably shouldn't tap that in place. I might have it off one spline. That's all it would take for it not to go through. Feels right, though. We'll pull back on it just a touch towards the grill. Whoop, see this part, my bearings moving. Just wiggle her down a little bit, see if that helps. Nope, did not. Try wiggling it up, see if that helps. I must be off by one spline. Go figure. Not a problem. We'll pull it back off, show you again how easy this is. Let's go one more spline, try that. Get on there. There we go. Looks the same, but it's like 36 splines, so it doesn't take much. Hey, look at there. That's what it was. I was off by one spline. So it's back together. That's not that tough of a jog, folks. You got to take your rag joint loose, inspect it, see if you need a new one anyway. It's pricey, but this is your steering for crying out loud. Plus, you can re-lube all this up in here. It's a good idea. If this bearing's tight, what I mean by that is reach in. I know my hands are way. Reach in, grab this shaft, give it a jiggle, and you shouldn't have very little movement in that shaft. Now, I don't have my steering wheel tight yet, so it'll have more pressure on it. But that should be nice and snug, and you can look right here to see if it's moving. Not a tough job. Take the rag joint out. You watch me pull that shaft. It went on fairly easy. I'm thrilled that's all it was. I could be driving this truck tomorrow, except I have to wait for a new rag joint because mine is bad. Let me show it to you. I think you've seen it already, but I wanted to show you. This part is like a wear part. It touches on your gearbox, but that's not what's got me bothered. It was tore right here. This bolt here just about tore out. And you can see on that side it's got a tear in it. See what I mean? Like I can just pull it apart. So being that that's ripped, there's a safety to this where it can't come loose. So it's not really dangerous if this is bad. These two pegs fit into a spot and your steering will not come apart. But this is what takes the vibration out. It was getting old. It's just going to make noise and it gives you more slop in your steering. So if it, for any reason you need to replace it, just replace it. It's worth doing. Okay, the last thing I got going on today, folks, is getting this breather problem fixed. Now, I've got Moroso valve covers. They're aluminum. Yours may differ, but you might still have the same issue. On this side, I have one of these pop-in vents. It doesn't have a problem. It works fine. It happens to be an Avalon. This one's an off-brand. Don't know if that matters. Or if it matters because it's on the passenger bank, or if it's at the back. I don't know, folks, but I'll tell you what, if I just push this in that hole, when I give her a good throttle, it'll pour oil down on my headers. So that's no fun. So if you have that issue, you might care about what I'm going to tell you because I had quite an ordeal figuring it out. Aluminum's thinner, and because it's thinner, they roll that hole. They roll the metal in, making it thicker than steel. If you have a steel grommet or steel and you're going to put a grommet in there and you want to go to a PVC valve like I do, or positive crankcase ventilation, so it'd be PCV, I always say it backwards, plumbing, one of these things. These are cheap if you get these like this, GM style. They don't fit in the grommet. So what I'm getting at is the aluminum valve covers will have a thick groove in them. So you'll have to pay attention to that versus the thin groove. I don't have a thin groove out because I was looking at my thick grooves. You can see how they make different styles. Bigger flange to bottom, smaller, they're thicker, they're deeper. Hey, look, the hole sizes are different. Yeah, you could spend, I don't know, I got maybe an hour figuring this all out. And here's another big hole one. I don't know, those are different companies maybe. So what you need to do to get this figured out, if you have that oil pouring out issue, take the grommet out, measure the hole. It's either going to be, I think, 1 inch. Don't quote me. Don't quote me on any of this because I've gotten confused in all the numbers. But measure the hole. This one's a 122 or 1.25 inches around. So I've got the outer diameter when you order these 125. That's the measurement. But I wanted a 3/4 inch hole for this. Well, that one don't fit in there. I had to buy another one. Because if you get the standard one, it doesn't fit. And then you got to buy the $29 or $32 PVC valve. I said it again. PCV valve. Well, that's no fun. Plus, I don't want my hose looping. I don't like that look. I don't care for it. So I ordered a 90-degree positive crankcase ventilation. I didn't want to say it wrong then. PCV valve. It's a GM style off of different vehicles. So you can put the hose on it and then it's going to go straight under that way. It's going to look cleaner. I'm into looking cleaner. And you don't need to put a clamp on it, but it'll bother me. So I'll probably put a clamp on it because I'm silly like that. The next thing we need to do is have this hose vent in the air cleaner so that if you do get this, it's basically so there's no pressure in the crankcase. So if it's off gassing a little bit of that vaporized oil, you don't want that in the atmosphere. You prefer to have it in the carburetor anyway. So we have to do that. Let me show you how I did that. Now this is some hackery, but I don't care. Good hackery is good stuff. So let me get my air cleaner off here. I'll just set it down. I'll be right back with you. I shouldn't even call it hackery, folks. When you're doing something and there's just not a part that you can buy for this because of aftermarket air cleaner. Dust in it. You don't want that going down your carburetor. So what I did is I took this lower pan and I kind of thought I got to drill a hole in it. I did that part. I haven't done this part yet. So I want this hose to go under here. This is my thought. It's more comfortable this way. I want it to go under here. I haven't done this yet, so I don't know how it's going to look. And basically push that in there. Go in there. Come on. Don't make me look stupid. Come on. Get in there. I should have oiled that. Oh boy. It's plastic. I don't want to break it. Now what do I do? Got it halfway in there. Should have put some oil on. That's what I should have done. But if it don't fit, just force it. Yeah, that's an old phrase. If I'm in your way, I'm sorry. Come on. It's not going in there. And I don't want to break it. Here it comes. Anyway, you get the idea. I'll get some oil on it next time. So I'm going to come up under here somewhere. Anyway, you get the idea. So the next part is, what am I going to do with this? Well, I'll show you what I did, what I'm doing. I know, I'm moving around. I drilled a hole in the bottom, try to get that reflection, and I put in this fitting I had in the drawer. And it's a 1/2 inch pipe thread. So I drilled a 1/2 inch hole in it, and when you thread it in, the tapered threads get wider. So it's in there pretty good. But I don't want it to fall out. Well, you can't get a nut to fit on there. That's never going to happen. But I found this washer. It's stuck on my magnet now. Just hang in there. Let go of it. I got this washer I'm going to put on there to reinforce this so I can tighten something down on it. What am I going to do for a nut? I'm going to use an air compressor fitting because it's got the same threads, national pipe thread. And I'm going to put that on there. Well, I don't want that in there. So I'm going to cut this off with a grinding wheel, clean this all up, and I'm going to have me a really nice nut to tighten this down so I have a place to put that hose. That's going to hold. It's going to be inside the, you won't ever see it anyway, but I'm not leaving it like that. So I'll take that to the grinder, I'll cut it off, and I'll be right back, and we'll tighten that on there. And maybe get this put together. I hope. I'm not so sure how that hose is going to, we're going to figure it out. I'll be right back. All right, I got our nut done here. It tapers from the original side towards my cut. So the cut side is going to be on top. I want a washer just to give it some more support. It's not going to hurt anything. And this hopefully will tighten right down on there. Now we're not looking for airtight seal. I mean, it probably will be, but it's probably not necessary. We just want to make sure that it doesn't have any big gaps in it. So let's tighten that down there. Hopefully this will go tight like I'm hoping it will. Oh yeah, she's gonna work good. How tight do I need it? Oh, I think that's tight enough. My wrench just slipped on the bottom is all. It's in there, rock solid. Got a good hole. We can get all the vacuum it needs to take that bad air out of there. Let's get our PVC. Well, I don't know. Should I put that on there? That's how I'm going to have to do it in the future. If you take your air cleaner off, you don't have to take this part off, but we'll just push it on there and that should work. Looks great, don't it? Well, hopefully it looks great, not like a donut. Now I'm trying to be funny. All right. I am going to grab just a little touch of grease from my fingers so that dry steel will slide inside of that rubber. But she's a tight fit, which is good. Hope I'm not in your way. So is that a good area? Oh, I don't know. Oh, it's not on there. There we go. I just guessed at that. We'll see how it fits, but I might have to cut some of that hose off or add some. Yeah, get a new hose. Looks like, I guess, pretty good. It's got a little force on that elbow I don't like. Get in there. But it'll kind of settle where it wants. Hey, that's going to work and it's going to look good. I probably could have went over that hose. What do you think? Just take a second, right? Boy, she's in there good. Here I go frogging around. I'm going to break something. I can't leave it alone. I'm going to go over that vacuum line. I just think it'll look better. Again, we're under the hood. Why am I frogging around? break a $6 part. All right, got grease on it. Now I want to clean it off. All right, that's good enough. So I went in there to do that time. Might have been better than the other spot. I don't know. I think that's going to be just fine. Let's put the air cleaner on, see what we got, see what we accomplished. Boy, I look forward to that not leaking oil all over the place. That was not cool. Drove it all summer like that, and I didn't want to give it too much throttle. I know all this needs clean. I know that. I will get to it. These are washable, which is nice. I think that's going to work. She's setting good. On there good. Everything's good. It's all good. You can check it out. Something we're not going to do later. We did it now. Yeah, we do a lot. I'm just picking on myself a little. Keep that grease off there because it'll just pick up dust and dirt. But that looks good. More importantly, it's not going to leak oil everywhere. I think that's a nice touch. It only took a few minutes. We made our own stuff. That's always kind of fun to do. Let me pull you back and kind of give you an overview. Well, folks, we did pretty good this week. I know if you had to do that steering column, you'll be glad to have a video. I know I was pretty worried about how it was going to come apart. I did not want to tear that all apart. Taking the steering column out, you got to take half the dash apart. You got to crawl around on the floor in there. It's not any fun at all. The shift linkage, and then you got to readjust all that stuff. This was a far superior way to do it. And if you have to do this job, sure, you're going to think it's uncomfortable, it's not fun, it's not the perfect spot, but it's a far cry better than tearing out the whole column. And it went together pretty good. The air cleaner was a small thing, but it's just neat to use what you have in the shop. Sure, I could have went and bought those little filter things that go in there, and they're plastic and have a slide clip. That's fine if that's what you want to do. That would have looked factory. We're not factory. Come on. Just grab some stuff from the shop, figure out how to do it. I even had them pipe tapers and figured out how to make them work. It's fine. It's not going to ever bother anybody. And now I've got that off my plate. We filled the rear end with fluid. That's all set. All we have left is the steering column, and I could finish it tonight, but I'm waiting for that new rag joint just so I know I'm solid to go. And we can enjoy this truck. I'll bring you back on it, some outdoor pictures. We'll drive around with it a little bit. Just kind of check it out now that we know it's done. I will mention one last thing to you. For those of you that are interested in the last thing of the video, there's something good. If you've ever smelled gear oil, it stinks. I can't tell you anything. It's horrible. I can't think of anything worse. Skunk, it's different, but I don't know if it's worse. And I'll tell you what it is that stinks so bad. It's the friction modifier part. This additive is required if you have a limited slip or a locking differential. This stuff is just horrendous. You can open the lid. I'm not going to do it. Just open the lid on this in a room and you'll smell it. It is just raunchy. So I can't wait to get this in the trash. And it does not wash out of your clothes. So if you get it on your shirt, throw it away. You can try, but I've always noticed it's still there. And I cannot stand that smell. And unilaterally, I've never found anybody that says, well, I like that. Because, I like the smell of diesel. Not too many people do. This is horrible. So I'm going to put it in the trash. We're going to see you next week. For now, I got to go.